Hey everybody, it's Josh. We once again do have an issue with audio quality on a prequel episode. It almost seems like a curse at this point in rotations. But the problem is largely with my microphone. For some reason, Skype entirely decided to take the presets that I had, both in regards to what mic was recording and at what level it was recording, entirely into its own hands. However, it's not through the entire episode. We do lose about 10 minutes of time on this double recording night in there, so some precious goofs did fall through the wayside, but it's not through the entire episode. And I will tell you when the cut happens inside the episode itself. But it does get fixed. If you could bear with us, we would appreciate it. All right, thank you. On with the episode.
How hilarious would that be? Because I'm watching through with I'm watching The Office through again with my wife finally, and there's that episode where they kidnap a pizza boy essentially and just have him like sitting in the room. I just picture that, like Ben ordering DoorDash while we're recording, and there's just some guy in the background occasionally like, I need help. Hello,
Steven, get me some fries. You call this a pepperoni with extra cheese?
Ben hasn't even decided what he's eating for dinner. Meanwhile, I've barricaded myself in my bedroom with 3 separate alcoholic drinks in preparation for recording.
3 separate alcoholic drinks?
I have stocked up on alcohol, barricaded in my bedroom.
I guess that's the intro. I guess the intro is Ben kidnapping a DoorDash guy.
Leave me alone. I'm ordering Wendy's.
Just putting the special instructions. Just look for an open window and yeet it through.
Hello and welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which we watch one Star Wars movie every week forever. This week, a movie that is not in that terrible 3 that we watch every couple of weeks. It's Revenge of the Sith. Ben, how was your watch?
It was fun.
Your tone says otherwise.
No, it was fun.
You put a lot of space in between each of those words.
No, I didn't.
Chris, how was your watch?
Yeah.
I like how we now have things that we put in our private Discord servers so we know where the other people are at.
Yeah.
Because Josh was ranting about something else and I just replied with "Geh."
I'm so glad that's become a thing.
God.
I'm so glad. That's the podcast. We did our allotted amount of Palpatine impressions, and we can no longer.
We have not yet done our allotted amount of Palpatine.
We cannot legally. Our lawyers are advising us to not continue because otherwise we'll get sued by Ian McDermott.
I mean, I just want to get Ian McDermott on the podcast.
I'm about to get my ass sued. You boys do whatever you want.
My watch is fine. Revenge of the Sith is a good movie. I'm fucking this Rise of Skywalker Phantom Menace Attack of the Clones group was fucking awful for me for multiple reasons in personal life and the podcast. But man, this was a breath of fresh air. I'm feeling pretty good. I will say, I'm starting to worry about my cognitive ability.
I've been worried about that for a long time. Not yours, mine. Well, maybe yours. I've known you a long time, too.
I've been worried about everyone's, to be honest. Because last week when I was like, I finally had my first mental break, everyone was like, oh, this is your first? You lucky fuck you?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, our first recording was in June of last year. We've been doing this for 7 months.
Ugh.
It's been a long time of doing this. Yeah. It doesn't feel as long because it's only our 3rd rotation, but it's been a long time. Well, we had that first recording, and then we waited until the end of July to start recording, so it's like 6 months almost exactly. like a week, 2 weeks from now, it'll be 6 months. Should we do like a 6-month mental health check-in?
I mean,
We're fine. We're fine.
look, I feel like we need a whole separate episode for that.
My cognitive ability, I think it's my analysis ability, has taken a hit, because I was watching the Dooku Obi-Wan Anakin fight, and Dooku goes, "Good, twice the pride, double the fall," and my brain went, "Oh yeah, he gets killed by 2 lightsabers, poetic," and then I stopped in like my tracks and was like, "The fuck are you talking about?"
No, that's just you've fully acclimated to George Lucas's version of poetry.
I absolutely love Sir Christopher Lee in this movie.
Great.
Because he is second only in camp to Palpatine himself.
Yeah.
He's just so... Dooku becomes the campiest motherfucker in the weirdest moments.
But no, like, there's, like, actual, and I will contend this, there's actual decent, like, undertones in that battle that are good, that I've picked up on in the past. But my brain was immediately like, oh, twice the pride, 2 lightsabers, and that's just utter bullshit.
Oh yeah,
It was the first time I was like,
2 lightsabers, 2 hands get cut off.
yeah, Star Wars, it all happens in 2s. Ugh. Oh, it's awful. I hate this. But good movie.
Yeah, I mean, kamikaze pilot Obi-Wan is still my favorite part of the entire movie. It's just the beginning, like, no, Anakin, it's too much. Let me die. But Master, you're totally fine. No, fuck it. I'm coming Qui-Gon.
I'm coming Qui-Gon.
Well, once again, Chris, you've done it. You found the title in the first couple minutes of the podcast.
I don't know. We've had a habit of like saying, "Oh, that's it," and then like we take a left turn 5 times.
I will say, I started watching the Clone Wars today, but that's neither here nor there. It's basically just to solidify that I'm not far enough in it to know if this is true for sure, and I certainly have not seen him thus far. But I got upset this rotation because it was finally confirmed to me, because I finally heard it because my ears were open enough, that R4 from Attack of the Clones, the same droid, was helming Obi-Wan's ship. And it just made me more angry that he was like, I don't recall ever owning a droid. Motherfucker, you had this droid for 2 years. 2 solid years. He was your droid. I realize, like, in the Clone Wars, it's very evident that Obi-Wan doesn't care about droids that much, but, like, he very clearly had that droid for a long time.
Yeah, it's yeah. That's one of the things. It's one of the things they've never really rectified. Like they've fixed a lot of what they fucked up in regards to making stuff that kind of makes the old canon make no sense. But they've also certainly left enough fucked up.
Yeah, I don't like. I watched a bunch of Clone Wars today, and in that first area of Anakin being General Patton, it was clear he like, which is what he is. With a conversation for another time, but that's what he is. In that area, there's an episode where they get lost. R2 gets like lost, and they have to go recover him because he never did a memory wipe, which is good. That's one good thing. Don't memory wipe the droid. But like in that area, Obi-Wan's like, "What the fuck are you doing? It's a droid." And I was kind of like, "Oh, that's mean. That's."
Well, we've established and been down the conversation of in the Star Wars universe. In the Star Wars universe, droids don't matter apparently to people.
Yeah,
they're just like, fuck these things, It's.
I mean, yeah. Realistically, George Lucas once said that C-3PO doesn't have a soul. So.
Yeah. In the wise words of C-3PO, we're made to suffer.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is fucked up, because in that Clone Wars episode, they take R2-D2 apart piece by piece, and you can tell he is hurting. It's like that Batman animated series thing where, like, yeah, Joker can't kill in that show, but, like, he absolutely can turn some people's faces into smiles, and if they're not dead, they're certainly in a comatose state forever. Is there anything that stuck out to anybody more than usual? Any little details?
There was, but due to all the notes that I don't have, I'm having trouble recalling them.
No, not except for the one fucking thing that you pointed out that I can't goddamn unsee ever again.
What, me? Oh, no, Josh.
Yeah.
Fucking
That's what
lazy
stuck out.
Fucking Emperor Palpatine.
So good.
Because, like, you are 100% right that when he does his little bunny hop or whatever, his fucking eyes are still fucked up.
When he's sitting, he still has the cross eye.
He's got a wonky eye and he's fucking
It's
bunny
not even
hopping.
cross-eyed. It's a lazy eye, because the one's just looking the opposite direction.
You cannot stop me. Lord Vader will become more... Hold on. Where are you looking? At me? I do not believe it to me. Are you looking over there? No Jedi are coming from that way, there is.
Imagine being in the middle of a duel with the most talented yet Sith Lord, and he looks at you with his one lazy eye and just goes, "Yeah."
I really want it feels like a Robot Chicken skit of him just being like, oh, my eye did that thing again. Yoda, oh, hold on, time out, hold on. Just smacking himself in the side of the head like, usually I have Anakin poke around in there and get it back. Oh, I can't, it's stuck, help.
Hold on. We can fix this canonically. This is a perfect opportunity for a Downtime Darth episode.
Oh, God.
Where Darth Vader wheels Palpatine into an eye doctor and says, I just don't know. Over the years, it has slowly gotten worse, and now he looks like he's Shawn Michaelsing all the way into another county. Can you fix him? If you cannot, I will choke you to death, but I'd prefer... This is like my father. I would like you to fix him for me.
Just looking down. All right, Emperor, what, my lord, what seems to be the problem? Yeah. My lord, you may be at the wrong type of doctor. I don't have anything for that.
Is there senility involved in the cross eye that your father has? The Emperor, my lord, has?
Was there did something land on his head? Perhaps one of those floating chairs in the Senate. You know?
The Jedi are responsible for this. Every time I do a Vader sound, if I don't add a, it just sounds like Malik. Now we've got like 3 episodes of that show ready. Disney call it.
It's becoming like bad animated shorts at this point, where it's just like.
I mean, apparently Disney Plus is open to that.
Well, hey, they also announced they're doing 18+ content, so we're in the clear.
I am disappointed in Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, best $6.99 in the biz.
Disney Plus will be the best $6.99 in the biz if they put the 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special on there.
No, we are not. Okay,
we're not there yet.
An opening of behind the scenes. We are recording the Star Wars Holiday Special after we record this. Pray for us. We're closing that curtain again. It is not the time.
It's going to be great. I'm going to be able to talk about a pod race.
God damn it.
I should have gotten some kind of recompense on you yesterday when you came by for all these fucking pod race drops. I'm mad.
Sorry you don't appreciate culture.
I have a bit that I might have ready by the time we get to the next series of movies that works perfectly for 4, 5, and 6. I just have to beta test it.
What is this bit?
Oh, I can't ruin the surprise.
Oh, you fuck.
I'm going to be sitting around horrified now. Thank you.
It's not so much a bit and so much as it is a supplementation of an existing bit.
Meanwhile,
I would like...
were it not for the fact that it'd be a nightmare to edit, I think it'd be fantastic to do like a quick post-recorded thing of like, hey folks, the audio fucked up. Now here's this, and then just like a couple of different
we
bits
can do
of
that.
the fucking random bullshit that we went through. Like,
We can do that.
Sweet fucking Jesus.
We can do that. We can do that, actually. That's actually a great fucking cheat. Let's do it. So, but we're going to make this super easy on me. Okay?
Okay.
So everybody mute your mics. Hey everybody, it's Josh. We had some major audio quality issues in the middle of this where mics decided to do things that were random. Here's a little preview of how bad it was.
yeah.
I want to make a Minecraft mod where all the villagers make Palpatine noises.
Alright, am I louder
God.
right now? Am I
Oh,
very
jeez.
loud right now? Alright, now this might get bad again.
At some point, we need to release an episode of B-roll, just like bloopers.
What the fuck?
How do I sound?
Oh God, Vader, my lord.
Yep. Yep. I don't know what the... Sounds awful, right? Alright, we're coming back in now. We kind of just jumped right back in because we lost like 10 minutes of time. So 3, 17, 2, 84.
I'm already
1.
here.
Yeah,
You
I've
fucker.
been- the secret is we've been here the whole time.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always here.
I want to seem slightly professional, like I can't fucking...
Josh, you don't know how to count in order.
I would like to point out that Obi-Wan, when assigning Anakin to a top secret spy job on the Chancellor of the entire Republic he works for, then ushered him to an open window to talk about it. I noticed this in the pre-podcast watch, and I've been begging to bring it up forever. It's like, oh, hey,
We've
we'd
already
like you to
confirmed
spy
it.
on the most powerful man in the galaxy. Let's go walk over to this window where everyone can see us, and definitely some people that can lip read can see us, and talk about it.
We've already confirmed it. Obi-Wan just doesn't give a shit anymore. And I don't blame him.
It's really good. It's just, it blows me away every time.
Obi-Wan spends this entire movie just being done with absolutely everything. And I appreciate him for that.
Yeah, he's dealing with a lot, apparently. Like, I will say, it struck me more than usual this time. I'm not sure why, but Anakin's Ruminations, the piece where he's kind of standing in the Jedi Council chambers, and Padme's off in her chambers, and they kind of do that whole thing. It's really fucking good. It might just be the music, but I don't necessarily think it just is that. And I will follow it up by saying it's probably because Anakin and Padme don't actually fucking talk to each other in that scene.
It's also... That's why Padme has a midichlorian count of about 5,000.
God damn it.
They're communing through the Force.
They were the OG Reylo.
Oh God, stop.
No. I mean, they're both problematic in different ways. Why can't we just
Not
have
very
a
different ways, though, if you
non-problematic
really
story?
think about it.
Yeah, one uses psychological mind games.
Yeah,
the other one literally tortures the other.
Yeah, it's
It's different kinds of torture, really, is what we're
But
dealing
it's-
with. We're gonna have everybody mad at us. There's not gonna be a person on the planet that's not mad at us after this.
That's alright. I already hate me. I can't blame other people for doing it.
Ben, stop it. Don't do that.
I love that I hate me and Josh getting mad, and then Ben just pure joy. That was just pure joy, is what that noise was.
Speaking of Padme and Anakin, can I ask a question?
What's up?
Is it about how much midichlorians?
No, I
Positive.
never want to talk about midichlorians again. Who was close enough to Padme that was on Naboo that knew to put the Japor snippet that Anakin gives her in episode 1 in her hands at the funeral?
Well, she wore it all the time. I mean,
Yeah, but like nobody knew what it meant.
well, yeah, but like if I'm sure people who were close to her were like, "Fuck, she has this on all the time, but it's important."
But like on the same token, you would think like maybe they would think this thing that she wore when she was queen all the time might be the thing to put in her hands. Like it seems super specific, and obviously, you know, it's meant there to be there for cinematic purposes, and this is a dumb question, but C-3PO certainly not there. R2 certainly not there. So who did it?
I mean, she also had aides that came with her too. Like she had people who were with her all the time.
Yeah, but not at the wedding. Otherwise, there would have been a lot of complications.
Well, yeah, no, but like people who definitely would have known this is important to her.
I guess.
I'm not like if I'm like, hey, bury me with this one thing. I'm not gonna tell you every single thing about it.
Okay. That's the thing. We never see her say that, so it invites questions. I'm also not saying that it should have been in the movie by any stretch of the imagination. There shouldn't have been a scene where fucking Padme looks at Keira Knightley and says, "Please bury me with this Japor snippet." But like,
do we know how Star Wars they basically cremate?
are you about?
Qui-Gon,
I was
right?
about to ask. Are you gonna ask how Star Wars buries their dead? Because I might nope out.
Well, they cremate Qui-Gon, but like, what do they do with Padme? Do they just like yeet her out into space? Like, how does Star Wars
Well,
burial
it probably
work? Do they
depends
just
on the culture.
Not. Yeah, I think so. There's too many cultures to really have
I mean,
one
there's like
method.
70 bajillion planets. I'm sure they don't
my
all have
God.
one uniform.
I know.
I was about to make this. You know what? Fuck it. I'm about to make this real dark. So what I like to think they did is they shot Padme out into space, where her little
Search for
funeral
Spock,
pod or whatever.
I was gonna say they did a Spock funeral.
Yeah,
They did a
whatever
Spock
her funeral pod or whatever drifted for years and years and years for about 20 years or so.
Oh,
20,
I don't like where this is
25
going.
years until
I
it
hate-
crash landed on the planet of Endor, where it was found by Ewoks.
Stop.
We've solved the mystery of the dress.
It's a different dress. Otherwise, I would give this
And then-
a little bit of credence.
And then Leia walks over to it and sees a vision of her mother, and all of a sudden we have an understanding of why Leia ever. This is so stupid.
She walks over to it. She's like, "This smells funny. Where'd you guys get this?"
You can kind of tell what episodes come out where if you're not in the know, because of the things that come up randomly on the podcast. This podcast is stupid.
Josh, please, we're stupid.
We make the podcast.
Don't blame the podcast. It's young and did nothing wrong in this equation. We did this to the podcast, not the other way around. It was so young and innocent.
Well, like, realistically, the podcast is like a yerk. It's like a being that is foreign to our bodies that feeds off of us and slowly kills us. It's not our child. It's something that is feeding off of our pain.
Jesus, we're really hitting, in many ways, our stride with this podcast, but also the breaking point of our collective psyche.
I mean, am I wrong?
Oh God. I Yeah, it's oh man, these prequels, they're rough. They are, because like this movie is so good.
Nobody's ever said that in the history of the world.
This movie is really good, but oh my god, when you've watched it 3 times in a row in a cycle, like
Yeah. It holds up and it doesn't hold up. This has always been a flawed piece of work. Nobody would deny that. But the thing that's so strong about Revenge of the Sith is that the things that are broken about it are the things that came before it, not necessarily the things that happen in this movie most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is I don't know that I have any like actual complaints about this movie. If we want to like put our analytical hats on, which we
do we want to?
Which we normally save for the sequel trilogy.
I just implied earlier in the episode that it was poetic that Dooku got killed by 2 lightsabers because of twice the pride double the Paul. Do we want to put on our analytical hats tonight?
No, but like I feel like to briefly put on my analytical hat that I usually only use to say really bad things about Rian Johnson, who I cannot stress enough that I enjoy as a person.
This laughing afterwards seems to say otherwise, but no, he does.
And J.J. Abrams, who has caused me nothing but pain my entire life. I really can't find much with this movie that I don't like. This movie's, I don't know. This movie might be the best of the Star Wars movies in my opinion. I think we've all said that at one time or another, like doing rankings and such, but I mean, Empire kind of always tops everyone's list because Empire, but I don't know. I always enjoy this movie. Like, I never sit down to watch this movie and go like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't either, but this movie has a lot of problems, and they're not. I think the difference between the rest of the prequels and this one is that they're not groundbreaking problems, but there's a lot of things that just are messy in its storytelling. Everything is very rushed, and part of that is because of the pacing of the 2 movies before it. Because things that should have been better explained through the pacing of the 2 movies before it, and maybe it's just because I haven't gotten that far in Clone Wars yet. And as I understand it, Clone Wars kind of magically deals with a lot of these problems. But, like, there's a lot of... everything's messy. Everything's kind of barrels forward at a certain speed. Conversations that should be milked out are kind of, like, compressed into small tidbits. Some scenes that are long do not get across a lot of information. For example, the scene where Anakin falls. And I did watch this episode kind of thinking that maybe we're too hard on that scene too, because a lot of the information that needs to be communicated in that scene are communicated in the scene where he finds out he's a Sith. So, admittedly, but there's a lot of space in between those two, which kind of offsets it. This movie is a little messy. It's actually a lot messy.
A little.
Well, we were just... cut this out, Josh. We were just talking about... we put on our analytical hats with Revenge of the Sith all of a sudden.
Oh, I know. I just realized I had my mic muted. I've been talking for the past, 5 minutes.
It has a lot of problems, and there's also a lot of baggage attached to this movie. Because there's promises that were made throughout the process of the making of the prequels, and even with the original trilogy, that weren't properly explained. Like, where the fuck does the name Vader come from is never explained, which is the big one that everybody gets mad about, that is of a generation before ours, and that admittedly always bothered me. But on the other side of that,
where do any of the Sith names come from?
That's fair, but it was specifically promised before the prequels ever came out that that name had a meaning, and we never found out what it meaning. Yeah. Like, this is the complaints of a generation before ours. but it's ones that I already had pre-cooked into my cognitive functions to question when I saw the movie. And don't get me wrong, when I saw this movie, I loved it. It was my favorite Star Wars movie ever. But it just, it's messy. But it's wonderful in its messiness.
Yeah.
Everything is so ridiculously over the top at all times. And there's much Star Wars goodness that's missing in the other movies that is baked into the core of this movie, that the flaws all of a sudden disappear if you don't have all of those preconceived notions you walked into the theater with, which is a situation that we have a problem with in the sequel trilogy, because we are of that generation where we walked in with a thought process and we weren't just allowed to bask in the movie. Not necessarily the case here.
Well, I feel like this movie is very much like, I don't know if you guys played any of the newer Doom video games.
Yeah.
Where they are very much just shamelessly like, this is a game where you run around and shoot evil things, and we know it. So we're not gonna pretend, like, we're not gonna make it dress it up to be anything else. Like, it's just go shoot shit. I feel like this is very much the same kind of thing where it knows what it should be, and it just does it.
Okay, that I agree with. But I think there's a lot of depth to this movie. That
this movie might have as much depth as George Lucas was capable of.
Yeah, I agree. I entirely agree.
And I don't necessarily mean that as an insult. You know, like George Lucas, as much as we make fun of George, good old George.
Allegedly.
I mean, you can't allegedly. You can't deny that George Lucas. Yeah, some of it's derivative. A lot of it wasn't even fucking him. I mean, he still made this thing that's incredible. And this movie feels like it fulfills the promise of Star Wars that George Lucas made. You know, like this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This, again, everyone always goes to Empire as the best, but watching these movies repeatedly has kind of cemented to me that I honestly think this is the best Star Wars movie.
Do you want me to get really snooty for a second and risk being made fun of?
What do you mean, get?
Oh no. Someone here getting made fun of.
No, he's talking about snooty.
Yeah, I meant get snooty. Josh, when did we meet? 2013? I didn't realize at any point you got snooty. It was baked in.
Chris has no fucking chill tonight. Full on aggression. I'm the aggressive one, motherfucker.
He's not wrong. Anybody who then can account for this when I accidentally ruined the Halo verse for him. Oh.
Yeah, I've realized my bit on this podcast is getting unnecessarily aggressive over things that may or may not be important.
Hey, which is totally fine about Star Wars, because that's normally my thing about everything. So it's nice to.
So when George made Star Wars, the box office was absolutely overrun with what I would say is a good thing, which is a lot of deeply complicated movies. There were a lot of dark movies, a lot of deeply complicated movies, a lot of movies that either had depth or attempted to have depth, and very dark. Except for like popcorn flicks, which were different back then. It was like Grease, which didn't come out in that era, but that was the kind of popcorn flicks you got, and they usually didn't get funded.
Okay, I was gonna ask if you meant like Star Wars original,
no,
Star Wars.
No, that kind of thing did not come out at that time. It didn't get funded. What George Lucas wanted to do was recreate the idea of myth, to recreate this ability to tell a story around the campfire, to recreate texts that people could be told to going to bed every night growing up. That's what he wanted to recreate. He wanted to create something. He wanted to recreate myth from across all cultures. I was about to say Greek myth, but that's fucking bullshit. That's my fucking Western bullshit brain that wants to say Greek myth, because it's baked into all culture. those stories are also not the best put together because they're not meant to be. They're meant to be outlines of a story that sort of can be told different ways to different people. Like fucking Beowulf, for example. Like, Beowulf is not the most riveting thing to sit down and read, but it's not meant to be told that way. Beowulf is meant to be told in these, like, massive hulking stories around the fire with this massive hulking fucking guy that goes around and does this and that and so on and so forth. This guy with a fucking sword on a vengeance path. It's not meant to be that complicated. It's meant to be over the top, an outline that you can tell to other people, and everyone can kind of turn on their head and tell a different story with. And that's why, and we always come back to this because we're assholes, that's why I love the EU so much. And that's also why I love all these Disney Plus stories coming out right now from different directors, except the majority of it is the same people, but you get what I mean. It's stories told from different people's perspectives over time. It's myth. And I'm not saying that Star Wars is myth. I'm just saying that the way it comes across as myth sometimes, especially when George is manning it, and that's what this movie is. It is this over-the-top, exaggerated, theatrical story that doesn't always make sense in its small bits, but it's very clearly this play that's playing across the screen for you. It's not meant to have this in-depth acting, realistic. It's over the top. That's why Ian McDiarmid is the best thing to ever happen to Star Wars, because that's all Ian McDiarmid is. Like, Ian McDiarmid could not calm down for a fucking second, and I love him for it. It's over the top. It's just myth. It's not meant to be too complicated. It's not meant to be perfect in its telling. And that's what Revenge of the Sith is. It is not perfect, but the broad strokes of the story, especially how it's presented, is fantastic. Because it's not meant to be fucking picked apart. Now, we'll pick it apart for the rest of our lives because we do a terrible podcast where one Star Wars movie every week forever. But you get what I mean.
Yeah,
This is the perfect encapsulation of George's vision.
If there's literally one complaint I could make about this movie, it's all retroactive stuff because of Clone Wars. And that's not an issue with this movie. That's just they made a lot of decisions with Clone Wars.
I've got a complaint about this movie. Why is Bail Organa important all of a sudden out of the blue halfway through this movie?
Because there's an entire deleted subplot.
there's a bunch of deleted scenes, but like...
Yeah, no, there's an entire plot
like,
of the
there's
movie.
like
No, I'm
30
aware.
minutes. There's like 30 minutes of the movie that's deleted where Bail Organa is at the head of it.
Yeah, but like, even when Bail shows back up, the only really, like, important thing to the plot he does is save Yoda.
Well, that's because, Ben, like I'm saying, the reason why that's that way is because throughout the entirety of the first, area of the movie before this happens, Bail and Padme and Mon Mothma and all of these people are essentially creating the rebellion from inside.
I know, but my point is, why is he still there even?
Because
If
there
you
was no
already
way to cut
gutted
him out
the
at
rest
that point.
of his story, why put him there?
Because there was no way to cut him out at that point.
Yeah, and I mean, he's still an important character to the story as a whole. I mean, he ends up adopting Leia, Yes, it's lesser for not having that plot line, but I don't think it makes him being there weird.
No. Plus, he's in Attack of the Clones, and he's powerfully in Attack of the Clones, even if he's not there, but like a minute and a half. Because he's the only person in the room when Palpatine essentially, when everybody's saying we need the clones, where he's like, no, absolutely not. The debate's not over. It's not time for this. And that makes you remember him when the clones end up turning on the Republic. He couldn't cut Bail out. It was impossible at that point.
Yeah. He also gets to step out of the shadows for 3 seconds in Rogue One, so he gets.
And they actually had the actor who played Mon Mothma in Rogue One, and she was great in all of those scenes. There's only one bad actor in those scenes. Oh God, I'm about to get in trouble. There's only one. How do I? Well, fuck it. There was only one bad actor in those scenes of creating the rebellion from the inside, and it was George's daughter.
Oh, Jesus. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Oh, rip it. Rip it right on the podcast, boss.
What?
Just tear that baby open.
What?
Look, I've been drinking pretty steadily throughout this whole thing in preparation.
As have I.
For what comes next.
As have I, but I got a
Okay, I thought you guys heard me throwing away my Wendy's wrapper.
We here at the Star Wars Every Week Forever offices don't condone drinking heavily unless you watched the Star Wars Holiday Special at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay. I'm going to get into this when we record that episode.
And then, talk about Palpatine and for like however long we talked about that. And I always enjoy when we get to Revenge of the Sith. My lisp doesn't enjoy it, but
fucking.
One thing that hit me this watch through is how good a lot of the ship designs are.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like the fucking, I know it's technically episode 2, but the Jedi Starfighters,
Well, they're
General
redesigned
Grievous' ship, the Venator class Star Destroyers, they all just have very striking, very solid designs.
Did I ever tell you all? I run the risk of repeating myself. But I ever tell you all that the cockpits of the new Jedi Starfighters in this movie were not built for people? So when they were filming those scenes, they had to have Ewan and Hayden dangle their feet out from at the bottom of the cockpit while they filmed around it.
Now I'm just picturing like a Star Wars Flintstones special.
Yabba dabba doo, we have to beat General Grievous. Oh God, we're giving them merch ideas. So there's something new that I never noticed in this movie that I noticed this time, and it bothered me very deeply, and it's also very this podcast.
Who else has a lazy eye?
Nobody. Well, nobody. But when after the fire ships put out the ship and Obi-Wan goes, another happy landing. When they're being shuttled back, and the shuttle is. I just did that because I wanted to do it.
I wanted to let it go, but Jesus, you did that really well, really quickly, kind of out of nowhere. It really fucking tripped me out for a second.
When the shuttle is coming in right before Obi-Wan tells Anakin to have his day with the senators, as that is like landing, or that's not the right word because it's all hovers. There's a wide shot, like from very far away, of all of the senators approaching. And I have no idea what the fuck happened here, but something went wrong. The senators are all fine. There's a couple of people that are, in costume that's practical effects. And then there's 2 3PO units. And this weird, like, silver titanium female-coated droid in that shot that look entirely incomplete CGI. Like,
oh God,
not even close to completed. It's hard to tell what the colors of the 3PO units are because they both have like similar coloring, but one has like this titanium sheen that isn't quite done, and another one looks entirely plastic. And I don't know, the other one kind of they all kind of look janky. The female coated one, I don't know why, but she has a swimsuit kind of into her, like a onesie swimsuit encoded into her droid appearance. Well, actually, I know why, but and when you kind of continue the scene on, I don't know about the female coded droid, but the two 3PO units are practical effects. So all I can assume is that for some reason those two droids weren't in the wide shot, and they had to quickly throw them in the last parts of the process and didn't get them done properly. But it looks awful.
My God.
It's like a half a second, but I don't know why. Well, it's because I've watched this movie 4 times this year, and I'll watch it, however many times next year. But I noticed it, and it was glaring to me.
This is really quickly going to just turn into, yeah, you know that little thing in the fucking corner of this one scene? I fucking hate it.
There's this, it looks like one of those little eye swimmer things in the fucking top left-hand corner of this scene.
Are you sure it's not an eye swimmer? No, it can't be.
No, it can't be. Fucking, it's totally, it's some Palpatine midichlorian manipulation shit.
Oh, did you find it?
Oh, God, that looks terrible.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, there's 2, C-3PO-esque droids.
Yeah.
And there's one that's, less clunky looking?
Audience, if you're watching on YouTube, I assume you're looking at it right now.
No, I'm looking at a crisp Disney Plus quality right now.
Disney Plus.
That's not what I'm gonna
best $6.99 in the biz.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to bake that kind of quality into the YouTube video, but I'll certainly try.
Josh Plus, best YouTube subscription in the biz.
No.
Upload those crisp, slightly pixelated thumbnails.
I might have a screenshot of it already. Let's find out. So I can share it.
I could get you one right this second.
I will tell you if you have to, but so that Chris can see it. It's in the Skype right now.
Wow.
It's bad, right?
What happened there? Fucking A, George. You want to redo a bunch of shit, but you didn't fix that before you sold it off to Disney.
Yeah,
fuck it. This is Disney's problem now.
Gray, vaguely humanoid-like blob.
Do you see the two behind them, though?
Wow.
Because I forgot about those when I was describing the scene. But there's 2 aliens that were thrown in there because I don't know why. I don't remember seeing them afterwards. But they also have no. It's hard. I don't think they're supposed to be droids, but that's what they look like.
The one is definitely the same model droid as that female looking one on the far left.
Must be. But why do they have swim? Why are they in a onesie? Is my question. I don't understand.
Because fucking space wizard logic. I don't know.
I would like to invite the audience to know that this is going to become the podcast eventually. I know it. I'm convinced of it.
If a single one of you out there doesn't think this is going to become the podcast, God's bless you. Because you have way more faith in us than I do.
You should have known when you saw a podcast that said anything forever. But no, yeah, we can nitpick this thing apart, but I had a great time watching this movie for the first time in a while.
There is one thing that could make this movie much better, though.
Don't say it. I will jump across the Skype call, and I will murder you.
You're talking me into it. Because I would love a pod race. That would make this a 10 out of 10. This would be 10 times better than A New Hope if there was a pod race.
You're a real son of a bitch for this, you know that.
Oh, I'm well aware.
We're repeating ourselves so bad because you've literally said that exact thing to him when you brought up before.
I know. Well, because it's all I feel. It's pure rage. And it's me trying to let it out in a safe way to a person I love dearly.
I love you guys.
I love you too.
I
Can I bring up
on a scene right after that one Josh was talking about, and Obi-Wan's just looking at me so disgusted.
You deserve it.
And I feel like that's just Josh and Chris fucking bearing on me via Obi-Wan.
There is a special edition edit in this movie that upsets me tremendously.
Oh?
It was put in between the DVD release and the Blu-ray release. It's during the Grievous duel. When the Clone Wars arrive, or the Clone Troopers arrive, and they're as they're rappelling in, that scene was originally just the sound of people rappelling in. All of that cued in Clone Trooper sound, all of the commands that are in the movie now were not there originally. And it makes me angry because it just drowns it out in such an uncomfortable and annoying way.
That's right, motherfuckers. You thought you were safe from special edition fucking
No.
rage in the prequels? Guess again.
No, there's a pretty decent number of edits to the prequels. It's just nowhere near on the level of the original trilogy.
I was gonna say, I've never really noticed any of them.
I can't think of a lot off the top of my head, but I know that in Attack of the Clones, the dream sequence where he remembers Shmi is pretty decently edited, is the other big one that comes to mind.
George just doesn't know how to leave things alone.
He does not. Disney Plus, where hopefully one day the original treatments of the movies will be available. Please, I'm begging you.
Never. Are you
highly
kidding
doubt
me?
that.
We're gonna get
I know.
new edits. We're gonna get Mickey Mouse on some fucking planet in the background at some point. It's gonna be all types of Kingdom Hearts fucked up in this shit.
Every time I hear Mickey Mouse's name now, I get Kingdom Hearts flashbacks. It upsets me very deeply.
I'm just fucking waiting, like, I mean, there was a small part of me that, like, really wants someone to just, like, make an edit of the end of Rogue One while the fucking Rebel troopers are, like, running, and then, like, everything stops, and they turn around, it's like, oh, I need those plants! And then fucking Mickey Mouse with a goddamn lightsaber.
Well, that's what I want out of Kingdom Hearts is the thing. That's something I would like Kingdom Hearts to do.
I really want
Mickey
Mouse.
I want Sora, Donald, and Goofy on, like, fucking Kashyyyk during Revenge of the Sith, or, like, on Bespin fighting Darth Vader. That's all I want. That's all I want in the world. Kingdom Hearts, you really fucked up by not doing that.
They enter a new environment and Goofy just starts getting force choked. What the fuck's happening?
First time Goofy got killed off in that series.
Donald just gets fucking, like, hit with force lightning. It's like, what the fuck is happening?
And the, like, power of the heart fucking conversations that would happen between Vader or Palpatine, and it would be fucking incredible.
Once again,
but, you know, I'm also in favor of putting Mickey Mouse in these movies just for the movies to be different. Because we could use a dose of different.
No.
Once again,
No.
Disney, we await your call.
No.
Don't do this because it'll make everyone in the world upset, including us. But secretly do because it'll change this process for us, make us do something different on a podcast, and that would be deeply appreciated. This has been Star Wars Every Week Forever. Good night.
Okay, so my last recommendation for this rotation, I would like to recommend a personal favorite game of mine since I was like the age of fucking before I can remember, is Star Wars Republic Commando, which I spent hours playing on my original Xbox and still play on my PC now. This recommendation is extra special because I know fan of the show Mr. Mishap happens to own a copy and has not yet beaten it, and I love him dearly, but he has to get off his ass and beat it already. I love you.
Beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. It's so good, beat it.
I've been harassing this kid for ages to play this game. He's so sick of me. Alright, that's all I had. Guys?
If you enjoyed that episode, why not like and subscribe? Also, share it with a couple friends. Bring them into this hellscape that we've done to ourselves. You can catch brand new episodes every single Wednesday on Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, pretty much every other platform you get your podcasts on. If you'd like to extend the suffering, you can catch us over on Twitter.com at SWEWF. We post direct links to brand new episodes every week as soon as we upload them, and you can catch the occasional other dumb Star Wars take, and who wouldn't want that? Catch you guys later.